In Guyana's case, we had to put a price on the services that our forests produce to the rest of the world. And our forest is twice the size, almost twice the size of Korea. So we got a valuation done, and we established a price for our forests. And we argued that if the world were to compensate us for preserving our forests, we can then use the resources to generate an alternative economy that would allow our people to prosper without cutting down the trees. It's a simple model, but establishing a price for ecosystem services at a national level doesn't mean much if there is no market for ecosystem services. And even if you do that, in the absence of a binding agreement and in the absence of uniformity across countries, how do you factor this, the externalities of fossil fuel and a price for ecosystem services into production or into a particular product? These are very important issues, again, that we have to deal with. So the way I see it is that we have to continue to struggle for a binding agreement across countries. It may not be possible in Mexico, and we definitely have to work on several initiatives that deal with content, the four that I mentioned before that are related to the Copenhagen Accord. We need to progress those rapidly, get them implemented. But we just can't leave this issue to national governments and their benevolence or their progressive leadership. There is an urgency in addressing the problem. The scale of resources needed to tackle this problem is beyond the reach of individual countries, and therefore we have to struggle if we want some uniformity of action and we want to send the right signal to the private sector across the board, then we need to have a globally binding agreement. I'm very concerned about countries and positions that discount this early, even before we meet in Mexico, because it was one of the failures of Copenhagen was not so much of a failure surrounding content, but a failure surrounding process. And I think it was because of the ambiguous position often, or the disorganized fashion, which the presidency has to be held responsible for, that led to this depressing outcome. So as we move forward to Copenhagen, we have to ensure that process is observed, and that the business community has to be incentivized to do this. If everyone, the only way, and I agree with the point about vested interest, the only way we're going to get every business in here standing up and saying, me first, is if they see something in it for them, for that particular business. And this should be the debate. How do we ensure there is something for everyone in this? And through legislative means or incentives or policies, but there must be something for everyone. Thank you very much.